Says, I got you down there. Nice find, Weber for two.
Yeah, Mays really good at just slashing, catch and elevate, finish strong. Well, just the physicality now that Lander is putting on Nova Southeastern's ball carriers. Look at that defense by Mays.
Ryan Davis playing with 2 fouls, missed the jump shot. Nova leads by 4. Lander gets it across. Crawford. Wow, they forced a miss. He was so open after you avoided that first little block attempt. That's one that'll haunt him. He felt like he should have had it.
I can't stress it enough against this system. Like, everybody thinks, well, don't turn the ball over. That's the most important thing. Yeah, it is. But finishing at the rim, as we see here, they had the break, and it goes off of Crawford's leg. But finishing at the rim against this pressure, you're going to have all the opportunities in the world. You can't be afraid of it.
Allen, Knapp, Graziani, Kaiser, and Reeves. Dallas lets it fly. No. Graziani went for the steal. Daniels, good handles. Jacob all the way coast to coast. Made him pay for it.
Tough, really tough. And Daniels.
Reeves beat him up the other end, and Navon Mays with an outstanding defensive play. Oh my!
Wow. We talked about one of the things we liked about him in the previous game was his defense and his athleticism. Ross Reeves, not used to getting contested like that. The elevation and swat by Mays.
Reeves misfires from 3. Pritzell working on Rosenberger. Get the impression that Bobby's going to have a big night. Kid who's playing in Pittsburgh in the national semis. He's a Pennsylvania kid from Quakertown. Reeves leads a 4-on-2, throws it away. Look at the save. Come on, Graziani. What was that? 20-16. That is why that kid was the National Player of the Year. 5'8", and he is the best player in Division II college basketball. That was bananas.
I mean, some people just have good court awareness. Larry Bird just used to throw stuff behind his back, and he said he had eyes in the back of his head. You've been around as long as Dallas Graziani. He knew that Ross Reeves was going to be by that rim. He just had to get it there. Graziani electing to go with the Jordan 3s this evening, in contrast to Wednesday's game where he had the 13s on. I asked him if he was sure he wanted to do that. he said, I've got 12 pairs of them, so we're good.
Not worried about them not being broken in?
Yeah.
My goodness. You know, college basketball is a lot different these days than it was even just a few years ago, let alone a long time ago. And let's call it for what it is. One of the things that has really elevated Nova Southeastern is the fact that they have one of the most veteran backcourts in America. Graziani and Ross Reeves. These kids aren't 21 years old. 25 and 26. They've been around college hoops a long time, and you know, all of it's within the confines of NCAA regulations. Ross Reeves did a couple years worth of missionary work, had the COVID year. Moore saw an opening, wanted to take it. Cannaville turns around, forces it up with a left off the window, and we are level at 20.
I think Mays a little hesitant to shoot that mid-range that he had wide open after almost banking a free throw.
Reeves had it poked away. Lander looking for the lead. Oh, yeah! Dylan Cannaville with authority. The 6-0 run for the Bearcats as Kaiser fires. The trap slows up the transition game. Moore, good handles. At the rim, no. Cannaville, a second chance, puts it home. And right now, Lander University is on a good little offensive spurt. Nova has missed 10 of its last 11, a 12-2 Bearcat run. Reeves, too easy.
Nova Southeastern with no answer for Lander close to the rim. With Mays and Cannaville, Brendan, their athleticism.
Weber pulls up, clanks it. You okay with shot selection?
Not that one, no, not him. He had a wide open line.
Reeves himself was out of control. That was completely self-induced.
I thought we were going to see Coach Crutchfield call timeout there. It was getting pretty close, but he doesn't usually do that because he knows the system will find its way.
Getting late in the first half, a Nova Southeastern team that averages 100 a night. Pritzell, the Bearcat sharpshooter is starting to feel it. 3 of 4 from deep. Graziani finds Kaiser. Bennett scores.
Boy, he is just instant action for the Sharks. Every time he comes in, he's either getting a rebound, a defensive tip, or making some sense.
Don't let 12 get in a rhythm. Weber, step back. Oh boy. The Bearcats right now are feeling themselves offensively. They've hit 4 threes as a team, 42% from the floor, and their offense right now seems to me, Chris, like it's fueling their defensive energy as Knapp gets to the rim and will go to the free throw line.
And vice versa, Brendan. It's just, you know, when you're knocking down shots like that on a consistent basis, we talked on Wednesday about stacking good possessions together on offense and defense, and they're doing both. That's the winning combination. You know, on defense, they are getting the ball and getting it up quick, and again, just finishing close to the rim. And then, my gosh, knocking down threes, shooting 50% right now. That's a tough one to guard because the Nova system is geared towards stopping everything close to the rim.
Bearcats have won 14 in a row, playing in their first ever national semifinal. They were in the Elite Eight one other time, 1998-99, when they were known as the Senators. They lost in the Elite Eight. They aired a Kentucky Wesleyan who went on and won the whole thing. You get a 10-second violation there in the backcourt.
And I think we look at here right now, Lander up by 5. They are playing really, really well for themselves. At some point, this is going to level off. That every team during the course of a game will have a 3 or 4 minute segment where they level off. Will they be able to sustain the peaks and valleys of a championship level game like this?
Graziani to his left. Ryan Davis. Wouldn't pull the trigger. Reeves will. Off to the left-hand side. Nova has not done a great job on the offensive glass on a lot of those long misses. They've had a few good ones, but for the most part, not a terrific offensive rebounding half. As Grayson Pritzell is showcasing an ability to get to the bucket too. 32-25. Graziani pins himself under the basket, needs some help. Loses the ball. The Bearcats smell blood in the water. Jacob Daniels, 3-on-2. Cannaville fouled, count it, and 1.
What is happening here, Brendan? We got a game, buddy.
Lander Bearcats are on fire. Daniels leads the charge this time. Everybody commits of that equation. One's off to the side. Cannaville's having a really good game. 8 points, 5 rebounds in 9 minutes. Nova needs a little bit more from its top dogs.
Dallas Graziani just getting manhandled.
Eli Allen misses that rhythm jumper. Once again, the Bearcats off and running. Weber attacking. Foul called. Free throws coming.
Lander is just playing fearless and free, Brendan. all of these transition baskets, they're not looking behind them because we know that Nova typically is going to run from behind you, try and smack the ball. They're not looking to pass the ball ahead out of a sense of urgency. They're attacking the rim without hesitation or fear.
That's 3 fouls on Ross Reeves with 3:22 to go in the first half. Coach Crutchfield does not often get heated, but he is really upset. Is he asking for did he get teed up or did he ask for a challenge of some kind? I mean, Coach Crutchfield doesn't usually get particularly hot, but he was definitely pretty upset over there.
Well, Pritzell's going to the line, so I think it must have been a tee.
Must have been a tee?
Yeah.
Okay. There were a bunch of people kind of standing between us. Couldn't quite see it live. That's absolutely what happened. Pritzell headed to the free throw line. (35-25) Lander.
You know, really smart veteran move, though, by Coach Crutchfield. Just his guys, they play aggressive, and they're just getting called for a lot of fouls right now. So smart move to maybe hope getting that tee will cause a little bit of hesitation on the officials' part.
Kind of look up at the left-hand side of the screen. Let's see the coach's histrionics. Not something he's normally known for. He comes all the way down to that corner and wants to continue the conversation. Maybe he just took it a step too far. I'm not sure. Well, somewhere along the line, every coach has a leash on what you're allowed to say and how long you're allowed to say it. But to your point, maybe that was intentional.
Well, we'll see what happens the next 3:22.
Right now, Lander is sitting there back at home in South Carolina saying, can you believe this? Nova Southeastern, whose only loss this year came by 1 point. And the Bearcats are beating them thoroughly here in the first half. Stays down here.
The Nova press just not even affecting Lander at all, Brendan.
Why is that? What are they doing? How are they handling it? Inadvertent whistle there.
Yeah, I mean, again, they're not playing afraid of it. They're attacking it. They're being physical. They're not trying to avoid the contact.
Pritzell shot it with some confidence.
You know, I often wondered if this would happen with the way that Nova Southeastern plays. Like, from the jump, they're extremely physical. They use their hands on defense. They contest shots with physicality. And when you do it from the jump, that sets the tone. The aggressors always get the call. These officials aren't putting up with it.
National championship games in 9 days at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. Part of the combined championships here in 2026. One of these two teams going to play the Gannon Golden Knights. Graziani drew the 6th foul of the half on the Bearcats, so they're now at the limit.
They are just hounding him, double, triple teaming him, swiping at the ball.
Ross Reeves having a bad
Mỗi thùng Omachi tiếng trống hồi xuân là một lời chúc mùa xuân đổi mới. Cho nhan sắc đổi mới, cho tình duyên nở rộ. Mang Omachi về nhà, đón mùa xuân đổi mới.
One thing we see that's not happening right now as well, Nova is not trapping in the half court.
Ncaa was calling for that ball when Reeves was guarding him. Reeves switched off. Remember, Ross has 3 fouls already. Went at Davis anyways. Scored on him. Reeves gets to the basket.
It's just something I've never seen in all the games that Nova Southeastern I've watched. Is usually in the half court they're still trapping you.
It ended a 10-0 run. Ncaa.
Jeez.
Lander's getting good look after good look.
And could have possibly been called for a foul there as well with the contact.
Here comes Kaiser.
This guy is instant everything off the bench. You can tell why he has the nose guard with how active he is. It's no doubt he's been cracked in the schnoz a couple times.
Inbounds pass comes all the way into the backcourt. Don't want to mess around with it at all. Cannaville, look how hard he gets straight downhill. Flings it up out of control. Landed out of bounds.
So that was 100% a benefit of Coach Crutchfield's
There's a technical foul coming up here. Weber wouldn't hand the ball to the official when he told him 4 times, give me the ball.
He's still
or is
not
it just
handling.
or is it just a warning? Oh, he didn't team up. He just gave him a warning. All right, for the first time here, we're seeing Lander's emotions start to bubble up a little bit. How can they handle it?
That absolutely should have been a blocking foul on Knapp that previous possession.
Graziani misses.
And you can see right there, even Kaiser being very handsy, very physical.
Pritzell.
Oh, man.
Good find underneath. Cannaville lays it home. Lander seems to have the right game plan. They are executing brilliantly. Nova is not shooting it worth a lick. 0 for 7 from deep. Graziani stumbles. Eli Allen bricks it. Knapp scores. Final minute of the first half. Lander is laying it on Nova Southeastern. They've led by as many as 15. 11-second difference between game and shot clock. Cannaville, no. Knapp. Nova will hold for the last shot. This is March tournament basketball at its best. The #1 team in the country is on the ropes late in the first half as Coach Crutchfield and his staff call timeout.
Brendan, we always talk about the journey to be a victor, and it's learning to, go through the ebbs and flows like we talked about. Now, Coach Crutchfield's technical foul, like we said, let's watch how the officials call it. That possession where, I don't know if it was Mays or somebody else, literally got hip chucked by Knapp. Knapp flew all the way back from the free throw line to the baseline. It should have been a block or at least a charge, and the officials didn't even call anything. And so now, once they've adjusted to that a little bit, a lot of times you'll see the team that was on the benefited end of that, they'll have a couple calls that they don't get. How do they react now? Do they continue with the level of physicality and aggression?
It's a great point. The game within the game. 42-29. It's too early to say upset alert, but this has been a brutal half of basketball for the prohibitive favorites. Graziani gets back to the rim with the teardrop floater, drawing a foul.
That was a really, really good play by Coach Crutchfield there. And Lander knew what was happening, and they stepped out to deny Ross Reeves popping up for the three. And Dallas Graziani, he saw that, knew exactly what was happening, and slipped to the rim.
Omar Watad's team with a 48-hour turnaround after an emotional win over Damon that literally bubbled over in the handshake line, have played, from an X's and O's perspective, a brilliant first half of basketball. They're hitting some shots that have certainly helped their cause as well. Graziani hits the free throws. It's an 11-point game.
Doesn't want to use his lose a timeout here.
From his inbound, back to Daniels. Quickly across midcourt. Jacob to the rim. No. Lander University, 42-31, out front of Nova Southeastern at the break. That's a bit unlike them. Now, they're not a huge fill up the bucket from deep team, but they shoot 37% from distance. We'll see how Jacob Daniels, the freshman guard, and his teammates can handle it. Grayson Pritzell gives it over to Mays. His first shot of the half off target. Davis leads it into the forecourt. Ryan Davis scores.
Well, if there's a guy that needed to get going offensively to help the Sharks out, that's him.
Good play. Moore into the corner. Pritzell, they clamped down on him quickly. Navon Mace smokes a layup that was reasonably contested. Pritzell tries to get to the bucket, and he draws the foul on Eli Allen.
Yeah, boy, could have had the whistle blown 2 or 3 times that possession, Brendan. And you just have to credit you have to credit Lander that they're playing through it. They're not throwing their hands up in the air saying, where's the foul? They're not doing the LeBron, as I call it, that palms up, you know.
Come on, man, where's the whistle?
Tough kids.
I think one of the things that we should point out here, Nova Southeastern has only turned it over 3 times in this game. Their detriment has been more an ineffective shooting performance. Lander hasn't exactly forced them to speed up or to take too many looks that were poor quality or rushed. But also, Lander's defense has been really solid.
They're just making every shot difficult. Look at that. A hand, a finger on everything.
Locked into the backboard. Pritzell in transition. Way right, but Daniels, nobody boxed him out and cleaned it up.
At that time, Lander with 3 offensive players at the basket that time. Usually it's Nova that has the 3 guys there.
Ryan Davis, catch and shoot. Reeves grabs the weak side board. Ross forces it back up. Tough play, no, and then it was tipped in by Jackson Knapp. Knapp has 13 rebounds already.
Yeah, really needs to step up offensively.
Daniels. I guess Crawford wasn't ready for it. Graziani wants to run the floor. Dallas Graziani hits the jump shot. He is fouled and one.
I didn't see that one. I was watching the flight of the ball here, but Graziani with a nice mid-range pull-up. I literally have no idea if that. I don't know if they.
Well, you got to let him land, and I think they kind of. He landed on top of a player behind him.
So that's the age-old question, though, is like he drifted in to the defender. So should that be a foul on the defender?
It's a great point. That's Graziani's very first field goal. National Player of the Year. He came out of the halftime locker room, and in the words of my partner, looked like a dog doing zoomies. He was sprinting, wind sprints, back and forth, dribbling, trying to get his heart rate back up as Crawford flushes one home. It's as though Dallas is completely uncomfortable playing when his heart rate isn't elevated. To the rim, a lot of contact and a whistle.
So we're starting to see it here that in terms of the level of call for the contacts now, Nova Southeastern is starting to have a lot of calls for the same contact that's not getting called down on this end. And again, I think that goes back to Coach Crutchfield's technical. A lot of times that just brings awareness to something, and the officials back off a little bit of gamesmanship.
Jackson Knapp misfires. Freshman, or I should say senior from Newcastle, Washington. It's the second. Knapp transferred in from the West Coast. Oh, Ross Reeves, good alert play. By the way, Knapp, just to put a bow on that, transferred in from Seattle Pacific. Really felt like he fit their system. We get another foul. Grayson Pritzell doesn't like it. And a technical foul on Pritzell, who ran with the ball all the way up the other end of the floor holding the ball. I think that's not so much on Pritzell as it is Lander a couple times has been told to give the ball to the official and they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, if they wouldn't have gotten the warning down on the other end, that wouldn't have happened. You know, that's right there.
That's his 4th foul.
Yeah, I don't know. You're down to the final 4 teams in the tournament. I don't know if I call that one, but by the book, it was probably the correct call.
Reeves at the free throw line. Ross makes the foul shot.
Now we're just going to see. We talked about in the first half, there was going to be a valley for Lander at some point, and how do they handle it? Coach Watad with a lot of presence of mind over there, not overreacting. We'll see how the rest of the Lander team does, and a lot of this rests on Daniels' shoulders. Jacob Daniels has to run this team with poise and control now. He can't be out of control. Come in, get your offense set. You can negate this momentum swing by Nova Southeastern by running one good play and getting a good solid basket.
That kid is probably the best freshman in the country. And he's got to do it now without his best shooter on the floor. Pritzell's on the bench with 4 fouls. That'll really negate a serious Bearcat weapon. Lander led the game 42-27. It's now 48-42. Right corner 3 doesn't go. Ryan Davis rips it away. Davis, one-on-one. Mays, great defense. Ryan flicked it up there, fell away. Crawford the board.
A lot of times when you get these calls going against you, you back off on your physicality. Lander needs to keep the foot on the gas.
Daniels, catch and shoot. Not going to get more open than that. Graziani in transition, puts up a high arcing little jumper. And Graziani is talking some smack to Jacob Daniels, letting him know about it. 6 unanswered for the Sharks. We're back within 4. Lander plays with an edge. They've got a chippiness to them. And for the first time in this game, Nova is throwing some consistent punches. How can the Bearcats handle it?
Well, Brendan, we got a heck of a game interesting. You could see that one coming a mile away, that Weber was going to throw that alley-oop. Sometimes just a little 2-foot jump stop, he would have had a nice little shot in. I don't know why the Nova Southeastern fans are complaining about that. Knapp stuck his backside underneath Crawford there.
Clear-cut foul.
Yeah.
By the way, the Graziani 3 was the very first one Nova has made in this game. They're 1 of 11. Tringone comes back in for Lander. Crawford will check out if he makes the foul shot here. Canada waiting.
You know, momentum shifting back and forth, but, you know, the key metrics to winning a basketball game are still in Lander's favor right now. Rebounding, field goal percentage on offense and defense, and free throws. They're holding tight.
When you play against Nova Southeastern, you know you're going to have a game that has a lot of possessions. So even when the clock gets low, both teams can't panic. Graziani tried to make a great pass there. Kaiser, he shuffled his shoes. Oh yeah, traveling violation. And look at Lander, the way they believe, just every one possession at a time that they come up with a stop, you can feel they're trying to manifest this.
They're just not making any excuses either. Like that, you know, every team's going to go through the up and down, and part of learning to win is going through that process.
Daniels, no.
Yeah, that could have been called for one there, so that's what I'm talking about.
Dallas got toward the basket, threw one up kind of wildly. Rosenberger had it taken out of his hands. Kaiser dives on the floor, screams for a timeout, and Nova doesn't get it. Held ball. Possession arrow, Sharks.
He is an absolute madman. You know, I would not be surprised if he just wears that mask all year round. Both players with their hands on it. Good call by the officials there.
Knapp, Reeves, and Graziani have combined for 31. Equally distributed.
Coach Crutchfield did not like that call either.
Knapp trying to get going. Just wasn't good from the moment it left his hand.
And Knapp getting really physical on the block down there too, initiating a lot of contact.
Nova's missed 6 of its last 7 from the floor. Lander is an elite defensive team. Stuffed at the basket. No foul called there. Somehow, look at Graziani. How did he not lose his dribble? Not a good-looking shot, and there is a foul on the floor under the basket here.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. That was just a crazy, crazy possession. You know, when you're fighting for a spot in the championship game, Brendan, these are the things that you do. And Graziani with the presence of mind to attack off the shoulder. And then Knapp just got touched a little bit behind there for the foul.
Reeves, well defended up until the very last minute when Ross beat him to the basket.
Definitely a veteran move.
Daniels, armed with a 5-point lead, wants to have a quick possession. He lays it in with a finger roll.
They just keep fighting back, Brendan. They will not let up. They will not let, you know, the runs that Nova makes get to them.
Not a foul on Tringone, who went to block it, but instead underneath on Moore, who was on his hip.
And this is what you do if you're an experienced team. If things aren't going your way, you're not knocking down many threes. They're 1 for 11, Nova Southeastern is. Just keep taking it to the rim because good things will happen. Have the patience and poise to do that.
Reeves misses the foul shot. Generally a fairly good free throw shooting team. Nova Southeastern 73%. It's not elite, but not terrible. Lander from the free throw line is not good. They're almost dead last in the country, 65%. Lander tonight, 10 of 13 from the line. It's a little better than normal for them. 6-point game as Tringone goes back to his left. Weber uses Cannaville, feeds the post. Cannaville in a little bit of a pickle. Tried to get his own miss. Threw it right to the Sharks. Omar Watad didn't like that. Ross tells Kaiser, get over to the other side. I want an ISO on Pritzell. Graziani finds Ryan Davis. Did not extend his forearm, just a lot of physicality. Is he okay? Or is he just upset?
That was an interesting situation there. So what Tringone did is exactly what we used to teach people on the block, how to guard when somebody is backing into you like that. And it was because the officials told us to do this. You absorb contact on the first hit to say, hey, I'm here to play. But if they do it a second time and it's a deliberate hit and you take the fall, that should have been called a foul. You cannot just steamroll guys on the block like that.
Antoine Weber is one tough dude. He plays with a lot of emotion, up and underneath. That's sweet. I don't know how you defend that any better than that. Weber, outstanding basket. 58-52. Nova fans are starting to get a little nervous here. This is too close for comfort for a Shark group that is winning games by 23 a night. It's Reeves hits one from the baseline.
Reeves is just so good. I mean, when you need a basket, he just delivers. And he never changes. He never gets frustrated. You never see him throw his hands up in the air. Just a bedrock player for this Nova Southeastern program.
Weber dials it up. It was straight at it, but a smidge too long. Reeves hands it off underneath. Davis waited for two defenders to leave their feet. We're back to a 2-point game. Lander led by as many as 15. And a foul going back to Nova. This timeout feels like it can really help Lander reset. The Bearcats still lead by 2.
Where is that?
Down in the Cincinnati area. Went to Minford High School. And he has fit this team like a glove. Nova Southeastern has erased a 15-point hole. And draws level at 58. Pritzell at the bucket. Nice play for a kid that shoots from the outside that well. He's had a couple near the bucket tonight that have been really good.
Man, tough play. They needed that too.
Reeves raises. Good active hands. Jacob Daniels. Graziani doesn't give up on the play, but Daniels shields it.
It is just amazing to me, the relentlessness of Nova on the offensive boards. They're throwing 5 people at the rim, just so unconventional, and it works so well for them.
Dallas turns it over, his second giveaway. Bearcats playing at a frantic pace. Pritzell got it. 3 ball as he points to his buddies. He's got 4 triples tonight. Daniels trips across midcourt, and I think he needs an athletic trainer.
So this is amazing by Pritzell, just to come off the bench, being cold, in a tough physical play with the contact to finish, and then a nice kick out, just sidestep, lined up the seams and dropped the shot.
Daniels was able to hobble off the floor under his own power, but is getting some training attention over on the bench as Pritzell helps punctuate a lightning fast 7 unanswered points in 48 seconds. Reeves had it poked free for a minute. How about Lander's response after the game was tied? Kaiser, no way. Way too long.
They have just sustained the ebb and flow of this game, and they're not giving up.
Fighting for underneath. Cannaville says, "Get out of my way!"
These guys refuse to be bullied by the #1 team in the country.
Knapp with a right hand, no. That is off Lander.
Sometimes when you're playing the best team at what you do, you get a little shy thinking, are we really doing this? And they back off a little bit. Lander has not backed off at all.
It takes a team with a supreme level of confidence to be able to do that.
And I would throw in a good dose of humility too, because
of course,
when they have gotten hit pretty hard by the Nova runs, they absorb it and they come back. Look at him, look at Moore, just getting up in his grill. Wow.
Ross Reeves, wow, even that doesn't go home. Cannaville. That's a good hard foul by Ryan Davis. Dylan Cannaville's going to the free throw line.
I cannot tell you how difficult it is to run a fast break against Nova Southeastern, where literally Cannaville was making a run for the rim. Graziani comes flying by, tries to steal from him, and then Davis goes up and just hammers him. I mean, these guys are relentless, and it's all clean too. That's the thing I like about it. There's been no dirty basketball here whatsoever. This is just good, hard ball.
2 teams that want so badly to play in the national championship game. The Gannon Golden Knights await the winner. Gannon beat Oklahoma Baptist earlier tonight as Cannaville missed. A 9-0 run ends here.
Brandon, you have to start wondering at what point, if at any.
Pritzell, good ball fake. He gave up his chance to shoot it. Moore out of control, gets a little help. Mays has had such an important role tonight, even though he hasn't scored. And he's going to the free throw line. 10 rebounds. He's been a terminator in the bottom of the key.
You have to start wondering at what point does it creep into Nova Southeastern's head of they're not playing to win, but they're playing not to lose, because they are not in this position often.
Jacob Daniels is hobbling off the floor, stretching his quad. It looks like maybe he's dealing with some cramps. Meanwhile, 4 fouls on Reeves. So keep that under your hat. 68-60 as Mays is finally on the score chart. He's just cramping up over there. They've got the Theragun out. He's trying to stretch that quad out.
Reeves literally 6 for 20 this evening. Just such an unusual sight for someone that really typically finishes pretty well.
8 minutes to go. If you're a Lander fan, that probably feels like an eternity. There's a foul on Weber, who was barking, saying that's got to be a held ball. He doesn't get the call. Instead, it's a foul. That's his third. Timeout on the floor. Lander giving Nova Southeastern at this point.